Hey, TIR family. If you're thinking you missed the text last week with my facilitation of this lesson, you did not. I missed last week. We had a lot of growth, a lot of changes that we were making, family, um, banking, financing, business, things of that nature. And I just didn't get it done. So you didn't miss it. I missed it. But I'm here this week to share this information with you. So we just came from thinking into results lesson 5, the trick to staying in charge no matter what. And we're diving right into, you know what? Let me double check that right now because look at that. Your coach is kind of missing it a little bit. I want to double check my messages with y'all. Make sure that that's the one that we did. Yep, it was lesson number 5. Just wanted to double check that we were on track there and I didn't miss it because it has been 2 weeks. So we're diving right out of the thinking into results and how to overcome any challenge, stay in charge. And we're going into self-image. Self-image is such a powerful, powerful thing. Everything shows up in our life based on how we feel about it. And we're one of those things. As Bob says, we say my hand, my body, and what is so, you're what you are, your concept of you is it belongs to you too. It belongs to that infinite. I know that's a little bit deep, but when it comes to money, time, relationships, fitness, your results in this world show up based on how you feel about those things. And your world shows up for you based on how you feel about yourself. And we call that self-image. That's exactly what this lesson is. Maxwell Maltz is a big part of this. Psycho-Cybernetics, such a powerful book. I said it, if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. If you haven't read that book, get that book and read it. Get it on Audible and read it. Listen to it again and again and again, because it will change the way you think, act, and operate in this world. You will stop having conversations with yourself that no longer serve you just based on the information that's in that book, because you'll realize that's not just something that I'm having some kind of thought and it's no big deal. That's dictating how your life shows up. So he said self-image sets the boundaries of individual accomplishment. It's very true. I'm going to get deeper into that in a little bit. I'll talk about that. But self-image is the key to human personality and human behavior. Change the self-image and you change the personality and the behavior. And that's absolutely true. When you change the way you think and feel about yourself, you're going to, your whole world's going to change. It's going to change the way you act and interact with people. Most of us were locked up with a whole lot of limiting self-set. We're not there. There's not one person that I run across in the coaching that's too outgoing. I never do that. I always run into people, and the reason that they're not succeeding getting the results they want is because they're too bound up by too many limiting beliefs. Oh, I can't do that because of this or that or whatever the case is, and so then they don't do it. And we need to open that up. We need to open ourselves up more to that. I also study Neville Goddard. Neville puts scripture, God, a lot of those things in perspective that's right in line with what it is we teach with the coaching. And one of the things that he says that I've come to accept and agree with is that change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change. So that stuff shows up for me in my life as I started to think about as I started to get older in my life. I started to realize the criticalness coming from those that were raising me and teaching and put my programming in. And as I started to become self-critical, I became critical of other people. And then I began to receive people that were critical of me. And it's really powerful when you see it that way. When you start to become more accepting and loving of people, that means you're becoming more accepting and loving of yourself. And we think about people in the maybe public speaking setup. If you're going to go out there and give a speech or whatever it is that you want to do. If we've created a world where we're very self-critical and now we're critical of others, what we've done is we've stuck a bunch of people out in that audience who are very critical of us. So we're not seeing people that want to hear our message and that are going to grow from it and they're very thankful and they're just so glad that you're here. What you're seeing is people are like, why are they saying that? And that doesn't make sense. And sometimes in the social media space, we refer to them as haters. But we're the reason of that. The whole point of that comes down to is that because we're self-critical of ourselves, we become critical of others. And now we see other people being critical of us. I hope that that makes sense of how that cycle goes round and round and round. And the only way to get out of that is through exactly what Neville is changing. Don't go out there and say, oh, you need to stop hating and you need to stop doing this so that I can be happy. What you do is you change your concept of yourself. Revalue yourself, and they will confirm the change. Either those people will no longer show up in your life, or you start to see what they're saying and what they're doing differently. So you just don't experience it. If you're not experiencing, then it doesn't exist as far as you're concerned. Everything is consciousness. So Maltz, through his work as a plastic surgeon, discovered that we had two images. This is what he referred to it as. This is his concept of what was working. We had an image that we project to the world, how we dress, how we walk and talk and greet others. And this is how we think the world wants to see us too. This is what we think that they want to see. And then we have a deeper image, an internal image. And that's the way we really, really perceive ourselves. This image is a feeling, and it ultimately shows up as our results in life. Now that's the real image. And those two images, the further they are apart, the more discontent we have in our life. And the more those two images are, the more we're free. The more those two images are the same, the more we're free just to be who we are, express who we are, and not have to worry about, oh, I don't want to show this side of myself or that side of myself or whatever it is. Like that's just too much stress. But this is what he discovered. And I think it's a great discovery, is that by his work in plastic surgery, for Maltz, what it was is that he could actually change somebody, and plastic surgery physically changed the person. And for some people, it had a profound impact on their life. Their whole life changed because their image was actually changed with that. They saw themselves differently. And for other people, because they had this internal image that was so associated with whatever it was that they might have changed, even though they changed it physically through surgery, nothing changed for those people in their life. Even so far to the point that Maltz said that, he could show them in the mirror, like, do you see that it's changed? And the person would say, no, it doesn't look different to me. It hasn't changed. So that's how powerful this stuff is. So environment is but our looking glass. Are you aware of your two images? And I'm going to tell you this, that the only reason you're going to become aware of your two images is that you learn to love you more. And when you understand who you really are, that's what thinking into results is all about. We're understanding that you are not the things that you do. You're not this programming that you have that makes you experience this world a certain way. You're the thing that's behind all of it. And you're a unique expression of spirit. You are that wonderful, amazing thing that there's just never going to be one like you, ever, 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 ever. Like, you're the only version of that. And that's what you are at your core. And what you do is you fall in love with that, and you have gratitude for that, because as far as I'm concerned, I didn't create me. And that was given to me. So we're grateful for that. So we no longer judge that. We know that that's who you are. And what we do is we're able to free ourselves up and look at our programming better. And that's what's really going to get this to flesh out for you, is to say, okay, I can see that I'm doing this thing. Like, I'm being aware that my two images is that I need to project to the world that this is me, and I get their approval, but really I'm this. And you're able to look at that without judging yourself. So once you can look at it without judging yourself, you can get all this stuff out on the table, and then you can just answer that very simple coaching question that we use so often and say, is that what I want? Is this the life that I want? And you can begin to make decisions and begin to make changes from that point forward by being able to do that. But you're only going to be able to do that by really learning to love yourself deep at the core of what you really are, that beautiful, wonderful spirit. So are you aware of your two images? What's the differences now that you're giving yourself that love and you look at that? What's the differences between the two images? And how does this affect your performance and your results? What's it doing? Not judging, just looking at it. Interesting. What's it doing in your life? And then how would you like to change? Interesting, right? Confidence is what this produces. So many different levels, so many things change in your life when you start changing your self-image. But confidence, the more the image of the person you want to be and the image you project to the world align, the more confidence you have in your actions and the greater joy you experience. Learn to be at ease with the person you want to be. The foundation of real confidence is belief in self. That's it. It's not your belief in your ability to do this or to do that or whatever it is. Those are worldly things. It's you to be able to believe in yourself. And what do you really believe in yourself? Like what you're learning and thinking into results. You believe in yourself and how you really operate with the world. When you operate with an image that you feel regularly, that's actually doing something in the world, and you have control over whatever image you want to get emotionally involved with and what you're feeling. So you actually have control of your world by thinking and feeling things that you want and choosing to not think and feel things that you don't want. This is the confidence that you have in the belief in yourself. It's the only true confidence that you can have. So when we say the foundation of real confidence is belief in self, and it's these laws that we're becoming aware of and thinking into results and how they actually dictate the outcome of my life. A lot of times book learning can get in the way of that because we're really relying on that book learning. But then that book learning, another book comes out and it contradicts that, and then it changes that. And you can't have any confidence in that. What you need is universal stuff, that this is just the way that it is. And I believe that that's what Jesus was really teaching too. He was teaching about the universality, like this is how it all really works. We have these great books and you can use these methods, that's fine, but don't have confidence in that. Have confidence in you. So the two parts of confidence is, one is belief and the other part is self. And we can break those two things down and say, well, what is belief really? It's just habitual thoughts with feeling toward a thing. That's all it is habitual thoughts and feelings toward a thing. Like you don't even think about it a lot of times. If the thought comes up, you just go, okay, yeah, I agree with that. But it's a feeling that you have built down inside of you about something. Like a very strong belief is that I can stand up and I can walk on this floor. But if I had that same strong belief, like I don't have that same strong belief about water, right? I feel completely different. If I go out to the pool and I say I'm going to step on the water, I don't feel that same way about it. So it's if you can see that in that moment, that it's very automatic. And that's what belief really is once it gets built down into you. It's you see the feeling, the automatic. You bring awareness back up to the surface and you go, okay, I see, I feel that. It's habitual thoughts and feelings, or with feeling, both of those toward a thing. It's below surface a lot of times. And then, the self-confidence, the belief in self is what's self? Well, self is the image that we hold of us. Again, as we think about, like I think about the floor here, I have a feeling toward that. Well, I also have that feeling toward myself. It's habitual thoughts and feelings we have about us. And we really want to bring that to the surface with this lesson. What are those thoughts and feelings? How are they serving me and not serving me? And how do I want to change them? That's the whole point of this. What areas in your life would you like more confidence? And how can you create that confidence? See and feel yourself successfully doing what it is you want to do. Do the thing to the best of your ability. Repeated acts of courage as you step into your new self. Be the observer. Don't hold yourself to some performance standard that unless you get that, you're bad. Just don't do that to yourself. Hold yourself to the performance standard that you get up and you take the action and be proud of yourself, regardless of what the results are. The more you get happy about taking the action, you really reward yourself for that, the more you're going to take the action. And then you as a human just kicks in. You're going to get better because that's what we do. We take an action again and again and again, you get better. And we've all experienced that. I don't care what it is that you want to do. You go out there and you do it enough times. Maybe you got a job that was repetitive. Maybe you didn't even care about the job, but you did it and you did it. And the next thing you know, you're doing it very easily. And next thing you know, you're not even thinking about it. You just do it automatically. That's what we do as humans. So reward yourself for taking the action, not for the results that you're getting. The results are a foregone conclusion. As long as you're taking the action regularly, you're going to improve. And one of the actions that we're talking about here is just catching yourself when you're talking negative to yourself or thinking negative about what you can and can't do in this world. You're an infinite being. You can do anything. You want to think of yourself that way all the time. So lesson 6 worksheet, discover the difference between your two images. 2, think of a person who has qualities you would like to develop. And then, you begin to bring some of those qualities over to yourself. And as Bob says, you're not gonna be that person. You just see things that you like and you say, I like the way that person does that. And I'm going to begin to incorporate that into myself, but you're still the unique version of you. You're always going to be the unique, even doing that thing right there, you're going to be a unique expression of that. So Do that. Think of somebody who has qualities you like to develop in yourself. I saw Bob speaking from stage, and how just mellow he was with that stuff. And when I first came into thinking into results as a coach, what I found was I had a hard time with these facilitations or doing some kind of recording because I was very nervous. I was very much judging myself. And I noticed that Bob didn't do that. He didn't care. And sometimes he would say things wrong or he'd do something wrong. I think I even shared with you guys one time I saw Bob pick his nose a little bit. He just didn't even care. And I thought that that was so powerful. Like, why do I care so much? Like, Bob has a huge audience. Nobody's really like, I just have a handful of people that I'm working with. Why do I get so uptight about that stuff? It's because I didn't believe in myself and I wanted to believe in myself. And in order to do that, I had to just let myself be. I had to be myself and speak and act and do the things that I wanted to do my way and give myself that forgiveness for making, any kind of what you might call a mistake. The biggest mistake is just to not do it, to get too locked up and not do it. But that's how I use that right there. And then you have the third thing is your life as a movie exercise. Think and Grow Rich, the self-confidence formula. You can find that in the book Think and Grow Rich. I think I've given it to you all in the form of a link on my website. It's a very powerful formula too. It's just a different way of talking about yourself and your relationship with the world and doing that regularly until you start to build it in and that you understand the world works that way. The key point is there's an image of perfection that's resonant in the center of your consciousness. The more you move in the direction of that image, the more your life will improve. There's no end to the good that you can experience as you develop a greater awareness of the perfection that is within you. Isn't that amazing? We are infinite beings and it's never going to stop. It's like you can just keep getting better. There's no end point. The happiness and the joys in the journey is that you see yourself continuing to improve. And you're going to see yourself continue to improve as you hold a better image of yourself. Now, real quick, I want to talk about this is that anything that you're wanting to do, I don't care if it's your health, your wealth, your relationships. We have all these steps that are being shared with us in the world, like this is the way to do it and do this and do that. And we really put a lot of faith. But the Bible says if anybody should come here and say, look here and look there, believe him not. I never understood what that meant. And what it's saying now is my understanding as it raises on that is that it's not saying that that thing won't work or whatever. It's that don't put your faith in that thing. Put your faith in you and your ability to form images and get emotionally involved with them and that shows up in your life. Like that's the faith right there. Do that. Don't believe the person that says, okay, do this step and do that step and whatever it is. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because as you do that, as you change your belief, you change your vision, your self-image. There's the word. This is how it guides you, and this is why you should have faith in this. Is that if you say I want to be more of this thing, health, wealth, relationships, whatever it might be, as you start to see yourself being that, you begin to build that into your self-image in the form of your paradigm, in the form of what you feel. What you're going to notice is that you're going to feel differently about the things in your world. The things that you say I like and I don't like are going to be changing for you. When somebody says I want to be healthier and more healthy and fit, and then you hear them say I hate exercise, you say, well, you know what, that's something that needs to be changed. You need to start talking to yourself from the point of view that you love exercise because you're going to seek that. You're going to start seeking for that answer. Why do I love my exercise? Well, when I finished my exercise session, I've always been happy about I did that. I go to bed at night and I was like, I was active and I was exercising. So you're finding the things that you love now. And as you begin to tell yourself, I love exercise, or I have loving relationships. Money comes to me all the time. I love growing my business. Your whole world begins to change. The things that you like and the things that you don't like begin to change. And that's what steers you. That is the thing, the self-image that's going to say, go do that more because you like that more. And your old self used to say, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. So you avoid it and you stay away from it. As your new self-image starts to guide you, you start taking new actions. And that's what produces the new results in your life. But it comes all the way from that point of changing that self-image to believe that about yourself first. Instead of going out there that here's the steps to create a relationship or the health and fitness that you want or to grow your business, those things being what you're relying on. That's not what you want to do first. What you really want to do first is start getting clear what that picture is in your head of having it already, and that will begin to guide you. I hope this makes sense. Don't chuck it out for a bunch of steps. Anybody saying, look here and look here, there, don't believe them. The first thing you have to believe is believe in you to go out there and do that. And that's going to be by seeing yourself have the results already. Matt here for Thinking Into Results. Love you all, my Thinking Into Results family. I hope you take this information and push it deep down inside of you. You understand that it's the whole point of everything that we're doing in the world. Everything else is just, afterthoughts, talking about results. Your results are coming from you and what you're feeling. And I hope you use it to go build the life that you want. Reach out to me anytime, family. Text or whatever. You want to have a phone call, a quick coaching and an uplift. I'm always here for you. We'll schedule that time and we'll do that. And I will see you next week when we do Trample the Terror Barrier.